Finally, Andrea Cambiaso is back and I'm extremely happy, even if I know that a lot of Juventini already gave up on the number 27 from the Bianconeri. Ragazzi, we speak about that, the Thiago Motta press conference, and also a predicted lineup that I'm sure will be controversial. It's not the first time that we have these kind of really strange choices from Thiago. Tomorrow, we know it, the most important game, the game of the games. Juve-Inter before PSV. And then we also speak about the importance of the game of tomorrow, not only because of the single game, but also the ranking of Serie A. We already watched Bologna playing, Atalanta played, Lazio, Napoli, and as I'm speaking, 0-0 in San Siro, Milan-Verona. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. We start with the first news, Andrea Cambiaso back, finally I will tell you. And even if I told you in the intro that I know that some people, they don't want to see him anymore with a black and white shirt, some people gave up on him, there are still some people that have some hopes, and I am one of them. I made a video recovering all the players, starting with Andrea. We need him. He's a super important player, Andrea Cambiaso. It's a player that, according to me, until the mini injury, the ankle injury of Bologna, in January, the voices of Manchester City, on top of that, until there he was top 3 without any discussion. I challenge one that tells me no, he was not top 3. Super important player, versatile player that can play on the left, that can play on the right, that can play with his left foot, right foot, defensively, offensively, and most importantly, probably a player that understands the vision of football of Thiago Motta the best, the most. So Thiago Motta, calling him up is great, him being on the bench is great. Will he start tomorrow? Probably not. After missing 4 or 5 games, well, it's tough to start, especially a game like the Derby d'Italia against the Nerazzurri. But good that we have him for the next games. PSV, and then in Serie A, and then Coppa Italia, etc., etc. In the summer, we will speak about Andrea Cambiaso, we will speak about Vlahovic. We know with Gazzetta dello Sport yesterday, they spoke about 2 big sacrifices, Dusan and Andrea, in the summer, so that Juventus is not obliged to go with another capital increase from the ownership Exor, but that's another discussion. From some players that are in, we have some players that are out. Douglas Luiz is out, muscle fatigue. It's a player that is not super injured, but we don't want to take any risk, especially because we know what happened already this season with Douglas. It's a big pity, absolutely yes. I was not counting on him in the starting 11. I always told you that. I believe that in the midfield there will be a war against the Nerazzurri, a big, huge battle, a physical battle, and I thought that the pressure that Barella, Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu, or whoever plays in the midfield of Inter would play tomorrow, they will kill Douglas Luiz. He will never have the opportunity to think, to have the time to control the ball, to have that vision. The 360-degree check of Douglas Luiz will be missed tomorrow. So I was not really counting on him from the start, but it's a huge annoying news. No, seriously, it's annoying because it's a player that is starting to have a bit of continuity, entering games, starting other games, beautiful performance against PSV in Champions League. It's a player that I really wanted to be part of it without thinking about physical problems. If he needed to be on the bench, I would have loved Thiago to tell him it's because of the physicality of the game. I'm counting on you for PSV. Now what we hear from the latest rumors is that not only he can miss Inter, but also already PSV thinking to see him again in 2 games. Huge big pity also because we don't have a lot of choices in our team in the midfield. We know with Fagioli went to Fiorentina, which means that we have Locatelli, Koopmeiners, McKennie, Thuram, I believe, yeah, these are the players. I have, I think, 4 or 5 choices there. I think that if Douglas Luiz would have been there on the bench, probably would have had the opportunity even to play with McKennie on the left. Without him, only one player can be on the bench from our midfielders, so I think that really McKennie will play again as the number 10. This is actually what the predicted lineups are telling us. Kelly will be there. Starting, apparently no, but he will be there. He had some gastroenteritis. He missed 1 day of training session. Thiago said, no, I didn't even call him again, or I didn't even mention him in a press conference because according to me, he didn't miss the last game. He will not miss this one, so it's a player that is part of the team. Will he start? No, I told you. So what is the predicted lineups? The controversial one. Di Gregorio into the goal. 4 men in defense. Weah, Gatti, Veiga, and not Kelly this time, but apparently Savona. After Savona resting a bit, probably also because of that growing pain, he could start tomorrow on the left, maybe playing 60-65 minutes before Cambiaso entering in the second half. Correct choice? Well, if Kelly the performance that we saw against PSV was not the best one, even if I told you I will not go towards the huge, massive critics that he received. Our game, a game of 2 on 10. I think these were a bit exaggerated, but it's true that it's at the moment not giving me that confidence on a left back position. Seeing Savona there, is it the best choice? Well, if you are looking honestly at the latest game of Savona, well, also there on the left side, I always said to Thiago Motta, don't put him in difficulty. So it's a risk. It's a risk. Savona, Kelly are both of them risk. I would have loved tomorrow to see Weston McKennie there, but I told you the injury, that's muscle fatigue from Douglas Luiz is actually avoiding us to make these choices. So let's see and pray that tomorrow on the left side of the field, that is one of our weaknesses, will be good. So Di Gregorio into the goal, the 4-man in defense. I already told you where that will play for the 4th consecutive game as a right back. And then we go towards a 4-1-4-1 with Thuram in front of the defense. Finally, this is what we were all asking for. But now we go with 4 men behind Colomoni. It will be the 6th consecutive bench for Dusan Vlahovic. 4 men that are totally different. Crazy. We will see Conceição on the right side, Cope Manners, McKennie, and Nico Gonzalez on the left. Cope Manners, McKennie, they have the role of the task tomorrow. One goes up, one goes down. They can alternate depending where the ball goes. So it will be that 4-1-4-1 that has always been in the ideas of football of Thiago. Had to put it aside a bit when we lost Bremer, but with that Renato Vega, we can go again on it. You will tell me, Beppe, where are on earth Bangula, Yildiz, where is Locatelli? Well, Bangula and Yildiz, I think really that he wants to have the same impact as we had in the first game, away game that we play against Inter, because remember these two entered, they totally destroyed Inter. On the other side, Locatelli, I don't understand. I really don't understand why. Is it to rest him? On the other side, he received the question in press conference, what about the team of tomorrow? Will you start thinking a bit about a rotation? He said, no, tomorrow I play the team that I think is the best to beat Inter. And when I'm reading the names, Cope Manners, Thuram, and McKennie probably is really going towards what I identified already a few days ago, going to the most muscular physical midfield possible. Will we lose a bit in quality there? Without Douglas Luiz, probably yes. If we have a Vega that can start the game from the back, well, Locatelli could possibly rest. Let's see. It's a big choice. Huh? By the way, speaking about tactics, well, there was that question about Vega. Probably the journalists, you watched the video here where we spoke about Vega, where we said, you know, how important he was in that change of football, especially in the last 3 games, where they said, is it true what we observed from a tactical point of view, that he's starting to build. He's changing the way of building from Juve, where Thiago Motta said, absolutely beautiful observation. Look, our midfielders, they always have to come back to drop. They must help the team dropping to take that ball and starting from the back, but not always. Locatelli has these skills to receive the ball, then playing short, playing long. And Renato Vega has exactly the same skills as well. He needs to improve a bit on his decision-making on his first pass, but it's a player that we are counting a lot on. And he's confirming a bit what we said in the recent videos about Renato Vega. Perfect games in defense for Renato, probably not. But the way that he's building, the way that he's actually giving more alternatives in the midfield to Juve is an important one. Then, about the victory, you know, we tend that Thiago Motta now is always speaking about victory in a press conference. There was that question about Renato Vega that said we must win games because we are Juventus, while Thiago Motta said, look, we must deserve to win, which is a slight change. It's a slight one, which always goes towards the philosophy of Thiago that really wants to play, wants to show his superiority. It's a different one. It's not just we want to win and that's it. We want to win, absolutely, yes, but we also want to show that we can win and we deserve the win. A game like Como, he said it, good for us that we took the 3 points, and it's important also to be able to win these games, but honestly, if we can choose, we need to keep our identity. We need to show and not always games a la Como. So important, then he said, at Juventus, on the other side, of course, you're obliged to have that desire to win in every single game, but also in training session. And I can reassure you that all the players, even when they are losing games in these training sessions, they are pissed off. They want to go back on the field to show everyone that they want to win. They win these small games, and that mentality then translates on the field. That's what he said about tomorrow. Of course, he spoke about the importance of the game of Inter, that is, we know it, in terms of environment, probably the most important one in Italy, but it's also the most important one because it's the game of tomorrow. Now, about Serie A, and we end here. At the moment, I'm still watching the game of Milan. It's still a 0-0. Goal has been cancelled to Milan, but it was offside, correctly offside. So we see Bologna, that starts really to be a threat. 41 points in 24 games, so the same games as Juve, but Juve needs to play, and then we will see Bologna recuperating that game against Milan. So it's an important one because yesterday they won because Torino threw it away. They won at the 90th minute, disaster, because Bologna is really flying. They are really doing well. Tomorrow Fiorentina needs to play against Como, so also there they have 42 points at the moment. They can go over Juve. So we really need to pay attention to the 6th spot, the 7th spot, and even the 8th spots. 3 teams behind us that are all in the run for that 4th spot. The good news is that Atalanta is starting to drop. Again, another draw, 0-0 against Cagliari. It's a really good one. Even if I believe that Atalanta, they will get back to their level of the beginning of the season. For what reason? Because we always know Atalanta, that's how they play. They have these huge big starts, they play really well there, and then they have that huge big drop, and then they come back. I always said that the day that Atalanta will be able to keep their form for the entirety of the season, Atalanta will win the Scudetto, but so easy. But they always have that, and that's the moment of difficulty. So at the moment, they are at 51, which means that if tomorrow Juventus win, they go at 46. That's 5 points of difference for the top 3. Paying attention, of course, of Lazio, that doesn't give up. They don't want to give up. They are still there on top, fighting against the big ones. Today, 2-2 against Napoli. That goal arrived at the 87th minute from Dia. Lazio, Barone, they are doing well, also with their changes, because they are able always to score with people that are putting on from the bench, the team in Serie A that had the most goals from the bench. So pay attention, because they have energy, they play in different competition, but they are able to manage them. At the moment, Lazio have 46. Tomorrow, beating Inter puts us in a bit more comfortable way, because we reach them at 46. Then it will be battle with Lazio, Fiorentina, Bologna, Milan, and pay attention, because Atalanta is not able to win. They start losing points there. Who knows if they will go, instead of fighting for the Scudetto, go again in fighting for the top 4 position. On the other side, look, 54 points for Inter. If tomorrow we beat them, well, they will be still at -2 from Napoli. You know that I'm not a fan at all from Napoli, but if I have to choose the minor pain, I go for Napoli over Inter winning the Scudetto. So, you know, there are lots of things tomorrow. The importance of the game of tomorrow is super important for ranking, for ourselves, to give continuity with 4 games in a row before going to Eindhoven to play against PSV. So many important, really important things for the game of tomorrow that I can't wait to comment together with you. Watch along, pre-game, post-game. Now I'm watching the last seconds of Milan-Verona with a free kick, a beautiful one. Let's comment this one, let's see, because they will go into the... No, it's a total disaster from Verona, otherwise could have been 1-0 before half-time. Ragazzi, I hope you enjoyed that video. Grazie, forza, Juve. Ciao!